Yep, I'm live and the music is also on. I can use it. Yep, it does increase in sound in the middle. I don't know why the volume is unstable. But I'm just going to continue, and today we have to build a project which is not asteroids, this build static site generator. Okay, let's see. Build a static site generator. Let's build a static site generator from scratch. Check out this live demo of what you will build in this course, but you won't just build the site, you will build the tool that builds the site. It is pretty meta. You will also deploy yours to a live URL on the internet, just like mine. That is crazy. Why is this a static generator? Because a non-static or dynamic site needs a backend to run. Yep. A static site generator takes raw content like Markdown and images and turns them into a static website, a mix of HTML and CSS. Okay, a static site generator. A program that generates a static site. It takes in a static files like Markdown and images and turns it into a static site. It turns it, wraps it around HTML and CSS. And the music is too low. Cannot hear. Increasing the there. Yep. Interested. This star is amazing. And Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer while learning science and stuff. Interstellar read properly. Yeah, now only a bit louder. No, seems like mine. Here the world's fastest framework for building websites. Okay, I have been to this website before. Cuba. Okay. Static versus dynamic site. A static site is what it sounds like. Static. The content is always there, always the same. Users cannot upload files, log in, leave comments, save preferences. You would need a dynamic site for that stuff, which is usually powered by a database and a custom web server. Static sites are great for blogs, portfolios, landing pages, documentation. Assignment: we will be using the Boot.dev CLI to run and submit the tests for some of the lessons of this project. Make sure you have it installed. Yep, I have it installed. I can just run the submit type. Let me go to the Boot.dev first. CD, not CD courses, Boot.dev. Yep, and begin. HTML. Shit. Yeah, HTML is faking it. It is not a language. The primary output of a static site generator is HTML because HTML contains all the contents of a web page. HTML is a simple language for structuring content. It is not a programming language in the sense that it does not have variables, loops, and conditions. HTML is a way to format text, images, links, and other media so that a web browser can render it in a GUI. Here is a simple HTML file, HTML heady with a HTML title tag, opening and closing head, which contains a title, then a body, which contains headers, paragraph, and other paragraphs. HTML is a tree-like structure where each tag, example p tag, the the bits enclosed in angle brackets can contain other tags, and the whole thing is enclosed in an outermost HTML tag. Let's break down the structure of this HTML. HTML, the root element of the document. Head contains metadata about the document. Anything in the head is not rendered visibly in the browser window. Title is the title of the document, which is displayed in the browser. Okay. I have to clear a little thing about metadata. Um, Metadata for anything like a website or a file is not the content of the file but rather a description of the file or website itself. File or website content. Yes, exactly. Right. For website metadata includes title, description, keywords, authors, and other data, which is not exactly the content of the file, but details the content of the file. Give some details, specifications about what the file contains. For file metadata could be the file name, size, creation date, modification date, author, and yeah. For image, that is the same thing. Title is the title of the document which is displayed in the browser tab right here, and body contains the content of the document which is what is rendered in the browser window. H1 is a top level heading, P is a paragraph of text, A is a hyperlink, the href attribute is the URL, P is a paragraph in the text, A is a hyperlink, the href attribute like to give more detail to a tag, how a tag should be. Is the URL the link points to attributes key value pairs that provide additional information about an element like this. Yep. Someone create a new repo on GitHub and clone it into your workspace. This is the root of your project. Add a directory to your project called public and save the HTML above into a file called index.html in the public directory. Change the directory to public. Change directories to the public directory and use Python's built-in HTTP server to serve the contents of the public directory. CD public Python is okay. I can use Python's server to serve files, and then I can go to localhost this as a let's say all right, all right. Create a new repo in GitHub and then clone it. That is good enough. New repository and I always see this person, George OST, always there. The architect would then overlap into development and analysis. P new repository. This will be called static site generator. Okay, I can choose the name static site generator. Yep, that is public and don't add a readme. I can use a license, GPL license if I want. This git clone this thing and cd static site generator and made a public cd public fetch index.html to create a file and wait a minute, I will be right back. Yep, me back and yeah, only been 9 minutes. I have copied this and now I'll copy the HTML file and paste it there. It's like very rudimentary index.html. Paste, save, and now I have to serve the file in the Python 3 m https serve Python 3 m http s dot p dot serve http or anything like allow Python to access local internet and localhost 8080 should be able to see the file. Yep, Front-end development is the worst. Look, front-end development is for script kiddies is for script kiddies. Look, front-end development is for script kiddies and soidevs who can't handle the real programming. I mean, it is just a bunch of divs and spans, right? And CSS. It's like, oh, I want this to be red, but not that red. What a joke. Real programmers code, not silly markup languages. They code on Arch Linux, not Mac OS, and certainly not Windows. They use Vim, not VS Code. They use C, not HTML. Come to think of it, backend, where the real programming happens. Come to backend, where the real programming happens. That makes sense. I do not have Linux, but I have the best second approximation to Unix. Yep, and serving, and this is cool. Serving, this is cool. Yep, and yeah, what do I have to do? Use it suggest into the address bar. You should see our file while the server is running. Open a new terminal window and run the test. Open a new terminal window. Wait, I have to do it on it. Makes sense. Edit. Yep. Now should do. It does do. And submit. Yep. And something about serving the file. Python 3 m http http not https serve, and then like what this command when run in a directory will look will start a program which looks for a foreign index.html file in the current directory, and in the current directory, and upon finding it starts a HTTP socket on the given port and starts to serve that index.html file that over that port. Index.html file over that port, and port are TCP transport layer specific, right? And but if it doesn't find such a file, then it serves whatever the files and directories are in the folder. Is that correct? You are mostly correct. Let's redefine it the behavior of this port. Do this HTTP server, which defaults to 8000 if no port is specified. It starts an HTTP server. It creates a simple web server in the directory where the command was executed. It listens for HTTP requests on the specified port, serving files. If index.html exists in the current directory, it will serve when accessing the root. If index.html does not exist, it will generate and serve a directory listing, allowing users to browse the files and subdirectories. If you request a specific path, example this and .txt, it will serve that file if it exists. HTTP methods, it supports GET and HEAD requests only. No other type of request. It does not support advanced features like CGI, like dynamic content. It is just a static file server. Yep, it is just a static file server. Now what do I have to do? This is done. Moving on. CSS, cascading style sheet, is another, not really a programming language that styles HTML elements. It is a way to dress your HTML with colors, fonts, responsive layout. animations, etc. Make all H1 HTML elements red, yep, like that. Or maybe we want the maximum width of our paragraph to be 50% of the screen width. Then do this maximum width of our paragraph equal to 50% of the window width. Okay. Copy and paste this into a file called style.css in the public directory, right? And do this. Okay, stop it and fetch styles.css in my bad. No size, not size, styles. Style.css and style.css paste this whole thing and index.html. I forgot how to import. I guess it is style. It is style and source. Source equals dot slash style.css, and that should do it. If I were to open index.html, let's see, do I see some style? No, I do not see some style or any style for that matter. Link, rel, href, yep. But yes, this is also a method which the one I used is also a method. Link, rel, relation. Yep, relation is that they are style sheets. SH style sheet and href, yep, style sheet, style.css style sheet, style, not styles, style sheet, Henry styles, style sheet, yep, and then open index.html. See, that does work, and I can serve again if that is what they want. Yep, serve again, and then do this. Python 3 m http serve at edit. Yep, run the command. Yep, it does work. That is errorful. Expecting to 100 and expecting body to obtain this thing. Expected code 200 but got 204. 404 not found. Why? Styles.css. That's fucking bad. Move style.css. Styles.css and index.html. This styles and then Python serve and then run the normal command. That works and then submit. Now it does. Moving on. Now again, writing HTML by hand sucks. Even if you are a grubby front-end programmer, you probably don't want to write entire documents in raw HTML. Writing Markdown is pure bliss. Markdown is a less verbose markup language designed for ease of writing. The trouble is web browsers don't understand Markdown, they only understand HTML and CSS. The first job of a static site generator is to convert Markdown to HTML. Instead of writing a verbose HTML list like this, we can write this in Markdown as this. Our static site generator will take a directory of Markdown files, multiple, one for each web page, and build a directory of HTML files because we are not savages. We will also include a single CSS file to style the site. Fun fact, this lesson and every lesson on Boot.dev is written in Markdown. These are not written in HTML, these are written in Markdown. So they are converted from Markdown into HTML. That is crazy. Dash is more enjoyable to write Markdown, and Dash is structured for browsers to parse Markdown HTML. Cheat sheet. This cheat sheet, this thing, uh, provides a quick reference for all HTML and Markdown syntax you will need to complete this project. Feel free to bookmark this page or open it in another tab so you can come back to it as you work on this project. References, Markdown guide, org, or HTML element references, contact, Discord, GitHub, and ChatGPT all support Markdown messages when you use Markdown on those platforms. GitHub, Discord, and ChatGPT. That is crazy. They support Markdown. .md, readme.md. Okay. Discord also supports it. That is cool. I guess WhatsApp also supports it. HTML headings. They are written like this. Paragraphs are just normal text. Bold is written bold has two apostrophes like that at the beginning and at the end. And italic has two underscores. Okay, and links are stated like this. Okay, this is the link, and it does say link. Okay, this is the text that will be displayed, and this is the actual link. All right, images like this, but in Markdown it is not, and inside alt description. Description is alt text for image, right? Description and then URL of the image, yeah, which is the same as just how to write URLs, but instead of just this, there is a exclamation mark at the start. Okay, HTML lists are written like this, and ordered lists are written with just numbers. HTML quotes, block quote is written like this, okay, and code is written like this. Okay, so if I were to go to say ChatGPT and write like this, it does represent and it does go in code form, which is crazy. And I can write this in Discord also. That's also crazy. Let me open this in another tab. And two pairs of asterisks around a phrase in Markdown equates to bold. Underline bold, which is represented by B tag in HTML. Cheat sheet. What is the difference between a normal link in Markdown and an embedded image? Embedded image has a exclamation mark at the start. The link starts with a not the link but the description. The image starts with a this. The image starts with a this, and the text in the parentheses is the second, and the text in square brackets is the alt text. Architecture. Mhm. The architecture for this app. We will dive into code in the next chapter, but first, we want to give you a high level architecture for our static site generator. Static, public, file server browser. The flow of data through the full system is markdown files are in the slash content okay directory. Template.html file is in the root of the project, okay, which is inside the source. The static site generator, the Python code is in the src reads, or Python code, the generator itself creates the stuff in the public directory. Okay, Okay, in the public directory, then the generator converts the markdown files to a final HTML file for each page and writes them into the public directory. We start the built-in Python HTTP server, a separate program unrelated to the generator to serve the contents of the public directory on 88,000 8888 port on our local machine. We open a browser and navigate to HTTP. This to view. Okay, looking here. I should stop the server to view the rendered site. That makes sense. How the SSG static site generator works. Okay, the thing is static assets like images and CSS goes into there, which is inside the public directory. And the public directory has source directory has content directory and also template.html. Then I have browser talks to the server, server does the file manipulation thing and serves file on this folder. The vast majority of our coding will happen in the source directory because almost all of the work is done in step 2 and 3 above. Narrow down files in this and this. The static site generator, Python code. Here is a rough outline of what the final program will do when it runs. Delete everything in the public directory. Mm. Copy any static assets. Wait, can I do something crazy? If a file can read the contents of a file and delete the file, then can a file delete itself? A program running on a file, can it delete itself? Let's see, I will write a program in C that does that. Delete me.c include dir.h int main and file pointer file equals open. How will I save it? I will save it by the name of delete me and nothing. Open it in write mode and this will delete all the contents inside the file and then I'll do f printf f printf into file print hi and then this close file and this is going to be crazy, actually crazy. Lang delete me send the output to delete me. This should not work. Delete me. Ls is delete me gone. It is gone. It is gone. No, it is not gone. It is there, but it has high. It is no longer the executable file which I created using plan. Okay, delete me.c. If I were to do something crazy after closing the file, let's say printf close the file, lang slash delete me closed the file. Okay, I guess it is happening because when the program runs, the code is brought into the RAM and not actually anything is happening with the file since the code is very small and it does come to the RAM. If I were to do and see hi, that makes sense. The vast majority of coding will happen in this folder. Delete everything in public. Alright. So our program will delete everything in public. Then where will our program be? The static site generator, the Python code in src. Okay, so how does it, what is like the structure? I suppose should I cannot figure out the hierarchy. I guess public is inside Python, public is inside src, and I don't know what the fuck it is. Copy any static images like HTML templates and images and CSS, etc. to the public directory. Generate an HTML file for each markdown file in the content directory. For each markdown file, open the file and read its content. Split the markdown into blocks. Example, paragraphs and headings, lists, etc. Convert each block into a tree of HTML node objects for inline elements like bold, text, links, etc. We will convert raw markdown into text nodes, which will be converted into HTML nodes. Join all the HTML node blocks under one large parent HTML node for the page. Use a recursive to HTML method to convert the HTML node and all of its nested nodes to a joint HTML string and inject it into the HTML template. Write the full HTML string to a file for that page in the public directory. How are we going to build it? We are not going to build the program in the same order that it runs. That is often not the best way to build large projects. Instead, we will tackle individual problems that we will know, we will solve and use unit tests to make sure they work as expected. Then we will put the pieces together into a working program as we get closer to the end. Yeah, I should take that wisdom that we will not write it as a story. We will write it by writing down the things that we will be needing. We know beforehand that we will be needing, writing it in modular form and testing each module with unit tests. You don't need to memorize the information on this page, but come back to review if you ever feel lost in the details. What should you do with this lesson? Remember to come back and review it as you should build the project if you lose sight of the big picture. Memorize everything. There is going to be a pro proctored exam. Proctored invigilate examination. Where there is going to be an examination exam it seems. I already came there. That was Uno. Text node. We are going to need a way to represent all the different types of inline text. All the different types of inline text. We are going to be parsing markdown text and outputting it to HTML. We will be parsing markdown text and outputting it to HTML. Parsing it. Focus. I'm here. And why am I looking at that? We are going to be need a way to represent all the different types of inline text. We are going to parse. We are going to be parsing markdown text and outputting it to HTML. So we need intermediate representation of the text in our code, which will uh, we and we will take a markdown file and convert that text into a intermediate representation which we can later translate into HTML text. Mhm. That makes a bit of sense. Normal text, bold. When I say inline, I just mean the text that is part of a larger block. For example, for us, this includes image, URL, code, italic, and bold. Everything else we are considering block level, like headings, paragraphs, and bulletin lists, and we will handle those later. Assignment: create a simple main.sh shell script in the root of the project. This will be a convenient way to run our code. It should contain this thing. Mhm. With the main file will go into the src and create a src directory with a main Python file. This is where we will write our Python code, make it print hello world, and make sure that running the main.sh script runs the main.py script file and prints hello world, literally hello world. Data git ignore while in the root of the project, and it should say this. It should contain this thing. Okay, this will prevent auto-generated iCache directories from being committed to GitHub. Finally, create a source text to node.py file and read on to see what it should contain. Okay, first of all, programming cd courses boot.dev lscd static site generator mkdir source cd source touch main.py touch main.py and text node.py cd here and main.sh, and it will say title 3 slash sources slash main.py and n source slash main.py and this print not printf hello world and a git ignore file cat cat would echo this thing into that git ignore. And in text.py file, let me first check main.sh. It is working, and the spelling for hello world is it the same as it wants me to make it to be. Hello world, no, it is not the same. And source slash main.ih has to be smaller. That's cool. Now, in text node.py, create an enum. Enum, 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 enum. I am already forgetting. Enums are data types in languages which can store which are data types in languages which when with 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 which if variable is initialized it can have only a finite set of values and in contrast to normally finite set of values available like in a string or list. Enumerations. Enum is a special data type that allows a variable to have only a predefined finite set of possible values. This Contrasts with data types like strings and numbers, which can take an infinite range of values. Key features of enums restrict values in Python is like this. Enum is a class which inherits. Alright, so defining a enum is like defining a class which inherits from the enum class, and doing this, and then doing color dot red equals this allowed, and color dot yellow is not allowed. Anyway, since I can even do a dictionary of enum types, dot up equals up. Oh, it is not up, it is like up. Okay, that is good. And yep, enum, enums. Blender, air blender, water blender, earth blender, fire blender, air, water, earth, fire inside the text node. Okay, what was the syntax? Import enum module and class blender inherits from enum, and it has air blend. What is this spelling? Air blender, air, water, air blender equals air, and like comma, I guess. Water blender equals water. Our class must be our base class. It is okay. From enum import enum. From enum import enum, and this is enum, and then what? Air, water, earth, fire. Earth blender equals earth, and fire blender equals fire. That makes sense, and then that is done. That is done. That is also done. That is also done. Just like in text node.py, create a class called text node. It should have three properties that can be set in the constructor. It can be set in a constructor's text node.py creates a class called text node. It should have three properties: text, type, and URL, and none otherwise. Okay. The text of the node, the type of the node. This node contains which is a member of the text type enum. Okay, among these three, text type enum is something that I'm going to create, I suppose. Okay, text node. Text node inherits from nothing, and in it, it takes in nothing. And it is not defined. I am defining it. It should take itself as a parameter. Makes sense. And in it, and what are the things that can be changed? Text, text type, and URL. Self dot text equals text. Okay, these things are going to be inputted. Text type, and URL. Don't have to do that. Yeah. Self dot text type equals text type, and self dot URL equals URL. That makes sense. I will just move on. Yep, it defaults, the URL defaults to null if nothing is passed. null or none. None is the thing in fact. Right, and then yep, this is how it looks. Create an EQ method that returns true if all the properties of two nodes are equal. Future unit tests will rely on this method to compare objects. EQ, okay. Create an EPR method that returns a string representation of the text node. It should look like this. REPR and EQ. EQ value. What is the value? Wait, what was there originally? It says object. It will take in an object. That makes sense. It will take in an object. Right. Cell dot text type equals text type and self URL equals URL URL equals none and EQ I think takes an object and if self dot text equal value dot text and self dot text type equal value dot text type and self dot URL equal value dot URL, then return true, else return false. Okay, it is saying that it cannot access URL for object. It is not an object. It is text node type something. I can do that. Yep, I can do that. And then REPR representation of the self. Seems like something Carl Jung would say. The representation of the self should be something like this. Okay, return formatted string, it says text node brackets in the first say self dot text, then comma space self dot text type comma space self dot URL. Right, that much is enough for this. You may want to use dot value on the text type field to get the string representation of the unit. To get why you may want to use dot value on the text enum type to get the string representation of the enum. Now, where text type and URL are the values of these three properties respectively. This is anchor, link, and this is the link. Right? Create a main function where T is capital in text mode. Right? All classes started capital word by capital letter by convention. Create a main function in main.py and call it. The function should create a new text node object with some dummy values. Print the object and make sure it looks like you'd expect. For example, my code printed this. When you are happy that everything is working as intended, run and submit the tests from the root of the project. You can delete the files and public them directly. They aren't needed anymore. Yes, and not public, but it's a C slash main.py. This function import text node we got text node class from text node and text node bracket. The text is a text, not text, textual description, and the type is typeless, and the link is https colon link this whole thing link dot link, and then I'd like to print it. Node equals this print node. Let's see h main.sh, and that is correct only up to a degree. After it is a mess. Right. N slash text node. First comes the text, then text type, and then text URL. That should have worked. But that clearly didn't work due to some reason. This is a textual description. Textual description seems to have messed up. This is a textual description, and then 3 strings. It is still the same. Of course, it is still the same. But why is it this? Link.link.com, and this is a textual description. Why am I getting them twice? The text part is not a command. C slash text node. The init part does this, and self evaluation does this, and then that should be working. Self text. Let's do print self text just randomly when I'm trying to create it. Let's say. Main.sh, and this is a textual description that should not be printed like that. Only a textual description should be there. Slash main.sh text node.sh, and instead of printing the self form of it, print the text main.sh, and which is cool, which has no flaws, but the text part of it does have flaws. Source text. Okay, let me do this, and also an indentation was messed up. Wait, print text, not text, self dot text. Let's see the difference between those two, and there is a tremendous difference, which should be no, which should not be, there, which should not be there. What is that happening? In src text dot self dot text equals, okay, because of that. Okay. That was stupid. Okay. Because it was treating that thing as a tuple. Yep. Now it is fine. Amazing. And now I can do this. Wait, what should be the name of the file which contains the thing? Xnode.py. So it should work. Static site generator, run this in the root of my folder, and exit code is 0 for both, which is correct. And now I can submit. Place in the icon. That is wrong. Got 126 for what? Expected is 0. Isn't that what you got? Expected standard output of this, but got this. Why? Text node main.sh text node slash text node text node textnode textnode. This is this, yep, that should work. Is it because of what I am providing in here? This is some anchor text. Is some anchor text. This is some anchor text, and then link https boot.dev link and www https www.boot.dev, and now run the test without submit first, and that does not run. Text node, it expected textnode to be printed, and what did got print message main.sh textnode textnode. These two are virtually the same thing. Yep, the same thing. Text node, text node, that should have worked. Text node, like representation is like this: text node, and text type, and then URL for the self. You should have worked. URL is none if nothing is entered in there. Tips: chmod main.sh executable while running. Import cards from the supercar. In Python, if you want to use code from one file into another, you can need. Yeah, I got that. Expecting over this. Expecting is standard. Okay. Chmod. Chmod is the thing. LSL everything, and yep, that seems like chmod change the rights to uh, execute. How do I put in the right to execute the thing? To execute, what rights should I give it? Plus X. Plus X. Yeah, makes sense. So that people can execute the file main.sh, and now if I run boot.dev CLI to check it, that does work. That does work. Yep, that does work. And I guess I can end the stream now. It's been 1 hour. Yep, I can end the stream and we can continue later. And I'll do some stuff on my own offline, which is pretty cool. Yep, and that is the end of the stream.